Alright, so this is Mirador.
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 You can play as a bird or a dog. You can apparently see the Steam overlay in the recording as well.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be there, but I didn't care enough to fix it.
Essentially what you do is you play as either a bird or a dog. You have a sword and a shield and a boomerang, and that's it. You kind of go in between little dimensions, mirror doors, if you will.
Oh, I never realized that at all.
Really? Oh yeah, bark, 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 bark. You can bark and caw, depending on which character you play as. It's a very important feature. It's how you activate the doors.
Yeah, apparently it is.
Yeah, and each little area you go through, you kind of just go to this little hub. There's no like ambient enemies, none of that dumb time-wasting bullshit. All you do is run through a short little area and fight the boss. Now, what's unique about the bosses is each and every single one of these bosses that you fight is designed by another player who built it using pieces that they got by killing other people's bosses. So all of these bosses are kind of amalgams of different parts, which change like how their AI acts. Like,
yeah, there's like one part. There's like one part for AI, and then several parts for attacks, and you kind of chain together attacks so that like within their specific AI. And there's a number of different ones. Like some of them are more simple than the others, and I think there's a rarity system involved with which ones you get and how you can use them.
I think the longer you go, the harder bosses you fight. So like the more built up they are, the further you go into the dungeon without quitting. And then
and I do know that in this game, like all of the bosses are user created.
Yeah,
do they have like a system to like discern whether or not, like, because I actually haven't played this game. Do they have a system to discern like how difficult the bosses are? Is there like you can create a level 1 boss with these abilities or something like that?
I don't think so.
I think there is, because so you fight one boss, get a rest point. You fight 2 bosses, get another rest point, and then you fight 3 bosses in a row.
Oh, that's the okay.
And so I think on the part where you fight 2 bosses, they're slightly harder than the first boss, and the part where you fight 3 bosses in a row, they're all harder than the other boss. And the way that it seeds that in is like how many strong attacks you have built on them. Like, because there are clearly just flat out better versions of attacks, right? So
yeah, but your AI structure only lets you use certain ones. I think part of it too, there's I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a hidden ELO system in the background as well.
Yeah, that's possible. That's plausible. I'm
really low
because it does track. Yeah, it does track how many bosses you started blocking there, like, and you were totally out of range of it.
Well, yeah, but I was afraid of getting hit even once because I was really low health.
Right. So, these guys with the guns, pistols, right? Like each weapon is its own basic attack as well, and there's a multitude of weapons you can kind of choose from, in addition to the spells that they cast, if you will. Yeah. These guys with the pistols are like really, really easy when you're playing as 2 people, because you can just block all the shots, and by the time he decides to shoot you again, your shot's gonna be like your shield's gonna have recharged. Your shield kind of recharges the more shots you take. But when you're fighting with 1 person, it's not going to have recharged because he's kind of relentless with the pistol. So so having 2 people definitely helps.
I feel like people are just gonna make fun of how bad I am.
That's okay. I'm pretty bad too, I think. Either that or
I don't even remember if we win. I think we win.
Nah, I think we win, yeah. I think I managed to barely finish it. But, yeah, once you die, you are just out of the fight. You still run around as a little ghost, and you're very, very distracting to your co-op partner.
Yeah.
But
I wish they would tone that down a little bit, because you have, like, a little particle effect on you and everything, and it's like...
And this whole game is particle effects that you have to avoid, like...
It's, like, bright blue, so you can always see it in the corner of your eye.
Yeah.
And see, now this bronze is what I've gotten material to color. Saine's gotten, I guess, material to color his dude with. And then that other one was an inscription. Now, the inscriptions don't do anything. They're just symbols that look cool. But you build all your bosses out of these pieces that you are getting from this. And then here's your little rest area. You can either choose to go back with that blue crystal there or go into the next boss fight. And I think you need to do 2 in a row if you go into the next boss fight.
Unfortunately, this game has really long loading screens, and I've actually cut them all out of this. But like, not between the doors, but actually first getting into the game is like a really long loading screen.
Oh yeah.
So I've had to cut it up and clip it together so that it didn't take forever. But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just so you know, the loading isn't as shown here, really, really fast. It's a trick of video editing. We fooled you.
We fooled you. Our video editors made that one up.
So this guy has a bigger variety of spells than the last one did.
He does. And he also, like, switches them up. This is a good way to show off the AI. Like, this has a much more complicated AI. Because once he gets to a certain amount of health, he starts using new spells while keeping the old ones. And then eventually phases the old ones out and gets even more spells. He also has a sword, which makes him really dangerous to close in on, as opposed to the pistol, which is like, you know, you stay far away, he's gonna shoot you, but once you're up in him, you can just block, right? So, and then he has a bunch of long-range shit as well, so really this boss is just kind of more annoying to deal with than anything else. And I think
but at the same time, like, I think the reason why everyone picks the gun is because, like, the sword, while it does do a lot of damage and stuff, it's like, I don't know, it's pretty well telegraphed in a way that you can't really deal with it as much with the gun.
Yeah.
I mean, the gun is also telegraphed, but it sort of doesn't, like, matter as much. I don't know.
Yeah. I see, this guy's pretty much what he's done here.
We're kicking this guy's ass.
We are, and what he's done here, I can tell you why, probably, is that he's got a lot of, like, oh no, he's gonna hit you in the face, and he's got a lot of, like, ranged stuff, but once you dodge his ranged stuff, it's no longer a threat, and he doesn't have anything to, like, he doesn't have any status effects. He doesn't have, like, that big purple globe that the last guy had that slowed you down.
Yeah.
Prevented your dash from recharging. Like, that guy just put pure damage on his shit, and a little teeny bit of area denial in the form of more damage. And as a result, we didn't really get hit at all. But if you notice, now, Saine has not recharged his heal or his health here. So you have to fight 2 in a row like that. And then the next one, you fight 3 in a row.
Ah, that's what you meant by that. Okay.
I think this guy probably just creams us, I think.
Yeah, I think this guy just absolutely whoops our ass. Created by Extra Thick, the Unknown Hermit.
Ah, there we go.
It does give your bots random names based on, like, the shit that you put together.
I think you can. I think you can intentionally name it if you want.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
and you can definitely, for sure, you can like click it multiple times, but like you can generate multiple times for sure. I think you might be able to name it too, but I don't know.
Now, see, this guy's little blue boomerang actually, like, chases you around and tries to hit you 6 times as opposed to the 4 that the last guy had. Or maybe not. Maybe this guy does only have 4 chases. But there is a version of that boomerang that just goes 6 times and hurts you just as bad. So it's like a flat-out upgrade to the old boomerang. The reason that you would not use that...
Yeah, but you can't. You can only put it in a certain slot, so...
Right.
So you might just not be able to use that one, or you might want a different heavy attack in that slot or whatever.
Right.
So there's a lot
of
that.
You and I, Saine, if you remember, we did get a couple of extra robot building bits and pieces. Like, somebody starting out this game wouldn't quite have as complicated of a group of robot bits as we started with.
Yeah, they gave us some stuff to work with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm jumping forward to doing the boss creation thing.
Yeah, which is this is the boss creation, kind of what we were talking about.
I actually spent a fairly significant amount of time messing around here, so...
You can just give him a space helmet.
Yeah. There's a pretty big selection. The problem is, well, I wouldn't call it a problem necessarily, because this is the only reason you fight the bosses is to get this. When you fight those bosses, you get drops that go into your boss. So, you kind of have to play the game a decent amount to get pieces for your robot dude. Because once you assemble this and put it together, you can't get those pieces back. You can delete the robot, but once you've used one of these, even one of these symbols or your coloring, like, that's it. It's gone.
That's fun.
And I think the other thing about this game is, like, both its strength and its weakness is it's only boss fights. So if you're not that into it, it can get boring depending on how you feel about it.
Yeah. Plus, there's no character progression. You fight these bosses exclusively to upgrade your own boss. And then, like, I think something that would be really good for this game would be like a replay system, right? So, like, you could watch replays of the last 5 people that fought your boss.
Yeah, something like that.
Like, that'd be really fun. Like, so when your boss kills a player, you get boss loot. You get more loot. You get loot to build new bosses.
The only problem I see with that is it basically introduces like a video recording system into the game, which would hurt performance. And this game didn't perform that well for me. Anyway,
Yeah.
I was constantly getting frame hitching, like, for most of the game.
Yeah.
And even worse when I was recording, but, you know, I was recording, so I don't hold that against it, but...
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I think it, like, technical limitations aside, I think it would make the game much more interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Because then you could get, like, you know, good feedback on what your boss is doing to kill a guy. Or
Well,
you could see,
one thing you
hey,
can do is you can test your own boss. And
That's true.
we actually do that after I'm done making the guy.
Actually, I think I'm not sure if you caught it or if it's in this recording, but I had just spent time building a boss because you got up to go do something, and I built a boss, and I uploaded it to the server, and we're like, okay, let's go, and we go into, like, not the test server, not the test thing, but the actual game, like.
Yeah, we
portal,
happen to seed our own boss. Yeah.
The first thing we get is the boss that I just made, and I'm like, hey, I know how to do this.
So here's the patterns that I was talking about. And some of them are based on health percentage, and some of them are just random. And you can kind of see they have, like, symbols and circles. Each circle is like a phase, and each symbol is like a level of power for each thing. So there's, like, basic 1 pip, 2 pip, and 3 pip.
Yeah.
And then that denotes, like, how strong those abilities are or whatever.
How strong those abilities that you can socket into that spot.
Yeah, I think you can probably put lower ones in it, but you can't put higher ones in it, I think.
Yeah.
Unless I misunderstand, which is completely possible.
I think you're right about that. So as you can see, though, this isn't even all of the AI patterns that you can get. You can just get a whole shit ton more AI patterns than this from drops. So
these are just the ones that I started with the, like, little DLC I got.
Yeah.
Alright.
So, like, there's quite a bit of attack patterns. There's, like, quite a lot of variations you can do on stuff. What we ran into and we're kind of discussing when we were playing it, though, was as many variations as there is, once you know each ability that the boss can do and what the abilities are, they're still the same abilities at the end of the day. And they're still only really using them one at a time. If you could, like, combine 2 abilities into something, like the slow field and the ground pound at the same time, that would be interesting.
Well, I mean, we shouldn't speculate on how it should be fixed or whatever. All that we can really say is that it's really easy to learn all of the variations, and then it doesn't matter how, like, when it's trying to do it, that's the variation. Like, you know how to deal with that ability or whatever. Or you might have an idea, or you've seen it before at least. But
Right.
And I think this is one, like, I think what we have here is basically one of everything, because I've seen all of these abilities, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
In the
but
time
it's
that we had played.
Or it's possible that it's not one of everything. It's possible that there's more complicated stuff, and just maybe a lot of people got this DLC pack, or maybe this is just the stuff that commonly drops early on.
And I want to be clear, it's not like a DLC pack that anyone can buy. It was like a beta testing thing that we got.
Yeah.
Right.
So just to be clear, this wasn't something that we bought. We didn't buy parts. It was something that was given to us for testing purposes.
Right, yeah, there is no internal monetization. You get the parts. Like the whole gameplay loop is getting the parts by fighting these bosses. So
yeah, they just gave us some parts, so we didn't have to play a ton of it to like
to be able to build a robot and show this off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the robot building system. I think it's complex enough. I just think that it can't, if you aren't smart about how you combine your abilities, you can wind up creating a really, really easy boss.
This game seems like the kind of game that a little bit of post-game support, like post-launch support, would really make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Because if, like, every time you add just a handful of abilities, it increases the complexity of all of the, like, bosses you can fight, essentially.
Right, exactly. You add one AI thing, and suddenly all of these abilities can combine together in a different way. Or you add one ability, and you can suddenly put them together with different abilities. So, like, there's really a lot of places it can go with post-launch support. There might be a lot of places that it's already gone that we didn't see, because we never, like, completed a full run of 9 bosses in a row or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Because one of the things is, if you're not really that into boss rush games, it's not going to be the game for you, and I'm not really.
Yeah.
Like I played this with Dalsson because it had co-op, and I was like, yeah, I'll try it. Like that sounds fine. But this is not the sort of thing I would typically play. So just
I really do like boss rush games, but that said, this game is very hard with one person. It's kind of hard with 2 people, but it's a lot easier to get used to. With one person, there is a lot going on.
I wonder if it scales at all. I wonder if they double the health or something.
I don't think so. I think that you just kind of, but I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I can't say.
Yeah, I didn't really test it single player at all. So
yeah, I played a little bit of single player, and it seems like they had about the same amount of health that I had to chop through just by myself instead of with 2 people.
This really exciting video here is me thinking. If you can't tell.
That's understandable. Oh, and speaking of boss rush games, Hollow Knight video soon. Sorry it's taking so long.
Oh, don't
announce that in a video.
Oh no, I already announced it in the last video that I was gonna have the Hollow Knight video was coming out soon, but it's just taking a while.
Yeah.
Here, I'm generating names now. Look.
I really like these.
You can't
names.
work.
Okay, so I guess you can only re-roll it then. You can't.
Yeah, you can't put them in. I do love it.
Freelancer.
Damaged Knight, Corrupt Devil, Unyielding Mercenary. It's like
Decaying
like
Baron.
Yeah, it's like the way that Diablo generates its rare names, you know, just like put like different permutations of different words and slap them together.
I went with Frenzied Demon, and you'll see why.
Rot face rot.
I went with Frenzied Demon, and you'll see why, because we're about to actually test it here.
Oh, good.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Little bit of a slow response time here, but yeah, here we go. I forget how he was even able to. Yeah, he is a frenzied demon. Saine, you got like a laser pistol. It's different than the pistol that we're used to.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. He summoned. Yeah. So my idea here was to just maximize area denial.
That's perfect, man. Look at that. The purple slow field where you can't dash, and then the fire on the outside. If you go, like, that fire isn't just damage while you're touching it. It also lights you on fire if you go through it.
Yeah, and I also set him to do that really often, which just denies a ton of area.
Yeah. It forces you to fight in the center, and then he steps outside of the fucking fire and shoots his fucking laser pistol at you, Saine. You bastard!
And that boomerang attack is just always really annoying.
And
it's
I'm
like
assuming you don't get invulnerability frames while you're dashing. You just
you do not.
No,
I noticed that pretty early on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you had invul frames while dashing, that flame attack would be worthless. You could just dash through it every time.
Yeah.
You can see I almost look. I'm the dog. I try and dash, and I barely tap the edge, and I take like half my health and damage from being lit on fire.
Yeah, and that
I'm glad that the shield gives you like a little thing of like you're blocking this.
Yeah,
this
the
is where
block-
you're blocking.
The block radius, it's very nice.
Yeah.
I actually at one point during playing this game, I was actually using Saine as a shield to shield myself. Like I was just standing behind Saine because I knew he would block the pistol shots or whatever.
Yeah, that's one benefit of doing co-op.
Yeah. You have twice the health pool and twice the damage.
People could probably beat this guy if they were like better at this game.
Yeah, we're not the best. Yeah, see here I just got fucking dunked on. And now Saine has half the health bar to go. And I think this is the point where he switches up his tactics, isn't it, Saine?
No, we didn't even get that far.
Oh. Huh.
Oh, and one thing is you have like a number of block strength or whatever. It's 5 blocks, and that can actually be destroyed, which staggers you.
Yeah. You can see down at the bottom, like you have a set number of each of the things. Heal, dash, boomerang, and shield. Your boomerang, you can actually fail to catch it if you move too far, and then you have to go and pick it up because it lands on the ground.
So, and that pink thing, what it does is it makes it so you don't regenerate dash while standing in it, and it makes you slower when walking in it. So what happens is he makes it so it's harder to dash out of it, and then also puts a ring up a fire so that you have to like, you know, dodge his bullets and stuff or be fighting with him. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. This was pretty thought out, but I don't even know how good it'll be if I played more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I can tell you the guy I made, I don't even know what I made. I made, like, I had a guy with, like, a mace and just a whole shit ton of slow and ranged abilities. Like, keep him away from the outside of me and keep him in the inside of me, and that sounded way too sexual for a PG-13 video.
Yeah.
The point is, I thought my boss out pretty well, and I logged on the next day and had, like, all 5 of the loot things. I killed at least 5 people overnight, and I'm not sure that this game has too big of a player base, so I feel that's pretty impressive.
well, we were playing it pre-launch, so
That's true.
or maybe shortly after launch.
It was shortly thereafter.
Yeah, so that's that game.
Yeah.
Mirador.
Yeah, it's
Mirador.
definitely a game that I would recommend to people who like boss rush games, but
Yeah, each boss is going to be relatively unique. It's pretty. It can get pretty intense.
Yeah,
that's
And
really
if you have a buddy to play it with, it's a lot better. It's like it's very fun to just fight a whole shit ton of bosses with a buddy, right?
yeah. I don't
Boss
know why I
are fun,
showed
sure.
that end part, but okay.
Well-
All right, so thanks for joining us as always. We'll see you guys next time, and remember,
Stay beautiful.